Welcome to Good Evening KU. I'm Kaki Bott.
And I'm Cameron Finley.
So a big event that's been going on in Lawrence this weekend is the KU Relays. It's basically this big event where some of the best athletes in the world are coming to Lawrence, and they're participating in a bunch of different track and field events throughout the week.
Yep, so today we had the start of the decathlon and the heptathlon.
Yes.
And for those of you who are unaware, the decathlon is an event where you go through 10 different events. It's kind of like running, pole vaulting, javelin, shot put, all kinds of different things. And then the heptathlon's a little bit shorter. It's 7 events, and I think it drops some of the jumping events. And I know personally, I used to be a runner. You couldn't tell it from me looking at me now.
No, you definitely don't look like you would be.
But I couldn't do any of the throwing or jumping events. I don't know about you.
Yes, well, the only time I ever took part in track and field was 7th and 8th grade. But I did do a little bit of running, and the one where you jump over the pole, what's it called?
Jump?
Yes, high jump. So I'm not very experienced in that area, but that's very interesting that you played such a big part in it. I never would have thought so.
Yeah, but then looking at the other things, again, events that I'm not good at, but we have pole vault, which is happening in the Iguana car park. That'll be exciting. It's going to draw some attention. And we also have shot put. And I've heard we actually have 10 of the top 20 in the world coming.
That's amazing.
I didn't expect coming to KU to get all of these world-class athletes coming to throw shot put. I expected them to be at a professional event, but apparently we have one.
Yes. So obviously this isn't my area of expertise, but something that I'm hoping to actually do well in tonight is a competition that's happening at Sigma Chi. There's a philanthropy event that's been going on throughout the week called Derby Days at Sigma Chi, where basically all of the different sororities are against each other, and there's different events that they participate in order to get points. And the event that I'm participating in tonight is the dance competition, where basically all the sororities make different teams, you come together, and we put on a show, and the basketball players are actually going to be the judges tonight, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I'm excited.
I mean, the basketballs probably don't know a lot about dance, so you should be okay. Their skills in basketball, so I mean, hopefully, if they don't know anything about dance, I'll just be impressed.
Yes.
Again, dance is not my strong suit, so hopefully you do well. I recommend you get out and see it. Where can they go? Where is it?
Oh, it's going to be at Sigma Chi.
Okay.
So, yes.
And so I know a couple of people here are going to watch it. Should be a fun night. A lot of things happening.
Everyone should go check it out. Come watch me dance.
Speaking of things that are going on, we're coming up to the end of semester. Obviously, finals are coming up. How's that going for you?
It's going okay. I definitely have a lot of tests coming up the next week, but I'm doing fine so far. How are you doing?
I'm good. A lot of my stuff is journalism, so it's a lot of making videos and creating stuff.
Which is fun, though.
Yes.
Something you enjoy, obviously.
Yes, it's a lot of fun, but it is leading to something a little sad. It's actually coming close to me to be going home. I've got 24 days left.
Yes, I heard that. That's crazy. How does that make you feel?
It's a little melancholy. It's a little sad. I want to go home. I want to see my family and friends, obviously.
Yes.
But obviously, I won't be able to be on this show anymore. It's a lot of fun, and having all my friends that I've made here, it's just going to be very different. So that's going to be a bit of a shock. And you'll also be going home at the end of the semester too.
Yes, I'm very excited to be going home. I as well can't wait to see my friends and family back at home. Obviously, I don't have as long of a distance from them as you have, and I've been able to see them every once in a while throughout the semester. But it's definitely going to be very nice just to sleep in my own bed and everything. So
are you leaving as soon as final ends, or are you staying in Lawrence for a bit?
Definitely going to leave as soon as finals ends. I'm very excited to be going back as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's exciting to be done with school.
Yes.
That's probably the best part about finishing up, is that no more classes, because it's been a long semester, but it's finally wrapping up. And so I think that's all we have time for today. We'll be throwing over to the news now, and stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Rose McHale.
And I'm Bentley Leonard. This is your Thursday Good Evening KU News Update. A new lawsuit alleges that the KU football player accused of raping a rower in 2014 also assaulted another rower in 2015. Former rower Daisy Tackett and her parents filed a lawsuit in March. Among the accusations is a claim that KU authorities did not properly investigate the alleged crime. The new unnamed plaintiff, who is still a student at KU, makes the same claim and adds that her rowing coaches retaliated against her after she reported it.
The co-founders of Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream Company have been arrested for demonstrating against big money and politics. Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield were arrested yesterday in Washington, D.C. with about 300 other people for unlawful demonstration activities. The duo created a new flavor to show their support of their favorite presidential candidate. It's called Bernie's Yearning.
McDonald's will open a new restaurant in St. Joseph, Missouri this summer that will be like nothing we've ever seen before. In an attempt to capture the casual dining crowd, this McDonald's will feature table service, a customized menu, and unlimited French fries. The 6,500 square foot restaurant plans to open in July.
With gas prices hovering around $2 per gallon, predictions are high for increased travel this summer. Oil prices are continuing to fall, and while that is good for the average consumer, it does hurt some U.S. energy producers, which can cost Americans their jobs, especially in the Great Northern Plains.
The KU tennis team returns to Lawrence this weekend for matches against Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. The Lady Jayhawks have been on the road for more than a month and return with a record of 15-5 and 5-2 in the Big 12 Conference. Play begins on Friday at 4 p.m. against the Sooners and at noon on Sunday against the Cowboys.
After losing 2 out of 3 games to Texas over the weekend, the Jayhawk baseball team will be back in town to face Wichita State tonight at Hoagland Ballpark. The Shockers will be here for just one game, and its first pitch is scheduled for 6 p.m.
The KU Relays take place this week. The prestigious track and field meets begin on Wednesday with multiple events for both men and women. The traditional distance carnival will be on Thursday, along with the street pole vault event at 6th and Wakarusa. The downtown shot put will headline Friday, with Friday's competition, and New College Quadrangular will conclude the meet on Saturday. This year, Colorado State, Nebraska, and Rice will compete along with the Jayhawks for the combined men and women's title.
That will wrap it up for today's news update. Stay tuned for Bella Without Borders. Please keep watching.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back to Bella Without Borders. Today I have a special guest with me, Gerret, and we're going to talk a little bit about some recent news that we heard. So recently, there was an Arabic-speaking student who went to the University of California at Berkeley, who was actually had to get kicked off of the airplane for speaking Arabic. So kind of, what are your thoughts on that? So there was a woman, and she seemed threatened by an Arabic-speaking man. So, you know, if you were in her position, kind of, what would you do?
Well, I mean, nowadays there are a lot of negatively perceived connotations about you know, people speaking Arabic just because of some recent events that have happened, and there's no doubt in my mind he was racially profiled. So I think from the get-go it's kind of inappropriate for the woman to feel threatened by just him speaking his native language. I mean, I'm bilingual myself. So if I were to be singled out just for speaking a different language, I would feel kind of offended.
So you bring up the point, racial profiling. So it's kind of, that's interesting. So is there a line between racial profiling and discrimination? So do you think it's understandable for someone to racial profile at all, or do you think it's just plain discrimination?
I think they're linked. They're one and the same. Absolutely.
You can't do one.
They have to be intertwined because usually if you're going to like racially profile someone, then the next thing that's going to follow up is some sort of discrimination.
Some sort of act of discrimination. So you mentioned that you're bilingual yourself.
Yeah.
So have you ever been in a position where maybe you were racial profiled or discriminated in some way, or?
Yeah, I just like Italian jokes, but not really nothing to be taken seriously.
Right.
Not, I wouldn't reference to being a terrorist.
Right.
Just
well, so
cooking
that,
good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of, the problems and the troubles that we have in our modern day is that something like being Italian isn't as threatening as maybe being Middle Eastern. So that's an interesting point that you bring up. So I guess, so what do you think, why do you think that someone would, kick a student like off the plane or complain to something like that?
Well, I mean, just like a perceived threat of security. I went to study abroad last winter, and we had a gentleman who he was of Hispanic descent, and we were on our way to Israel, and he looked Arabic, and he got stopped at every security checkpoint. So I can see it's kind of hard to draw a line in that particular scenario because when security are looking for possible threats, and with the whole political climate, it's really hard to draw like a straight line of what it's like racially profiling and discrimination, like I had said earlier. So I don't know. That's a hard question.
Right. So I guess when something like this happens, what do you think? Because obviously, the woman was wrong. So and that kind of brings up a huge issue. So what do you think is, happens, or how do you feel for people who have maybe been racially profiled or discriminated who really didn't deserve it?
I mean, I feel really bad for them because they had to go through the embarrassment of, being escorted off the plane by security just for speaking their native tongue.
Right.
In that particular instance, I don't think that's right at all. So having said that, like I said before, people have made jokes just because I like speak another language, but they weren't anything on the level of being a terrorist or being violent or a negative connotation. So I think what people need to do is just more education on the subject of multiculturalism, and I think that would probably curb a lot of the racial profiling that goes on. Because, I mean, the world's globalizing. People from all over the world are interacting more and more, and so we're going to have to get past that pretty quick.
Right. Well, thank you for coming on. This
thanks for having me.
An issue that, hopefully we'll be able to discuss more in the future. So that will wrap up this segment of Bella Without Borders. Up next, we'll have the weather.
Good afternoon and welcome back. Well, we saw afternoon temperatures right around 70 degrees today. These temperatures will drop off as the night goes on. It will get kind of chilly tonight as we approach our nighttime low right around 48 degrees. But as we head into tomorrow, we are expecting pretty similar temperatures right around 71 degrees. If you are heading out to the KU relays, it's going to be a pretty nice afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, a little breeze with winds right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. And as we look into the 5-day for the weekend, look at this. It is going to be awesome. 71 tomorrow, 74 Friday. Look at Saturday and Sunday, 80 and 81 degrees. Get outside, enjoy the weather. It is going to be beautiful. Before we get too hot, go outside. 80, 81 degrees. I can't think of anything else that I would rather have. And as we head into Monday, these trends will follow. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Media Crossroads, and do not stay tuned because I'm wrapping up the show, but come back next week at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Thanks.